All right, we're trying this out. What's up, anybody who might be here taking a look at this stream with me? It's the first time ever doing this. Let me know. Let me know the quality. From what I can tell, it looks like our quality is not great. I'm showing like 360p. Is that what you guys are seeing too? Here, I have to play with this a bit. Thank you, anybody who is here. Bearing with me as I figure all this out for the first time. Oh, cool. No, it looks like the stream. Okay. It's just like my preview was showing like 360p, which was terrible, but nope, looks like we're good. Alrighty. Thanks, Devil Ray. Appreciate you, man. So, yeah, I don't really have much of an agenda here. I just figured I'd start trying to do a live stream. Someone had commented before saying, you know, hey man, you should do a live stream. We'd like to interact with you. So we're trying that out. We'll see how it goes. Figured, I'll do a quick round of hack the box, and we'll just see what kind of happens. So thanks for popping along with me. I think what I'm going to start out with is popcorn, which is an easy machine. And from my notes, it looks like I started it in the past, but I never actually finished it. So this should be a good one. I'm just going to start by, well, just getting started. So I'm going to make a quick nmap directory, and then I'll start my nmap scan. All ports, default script, default services. Then I want to outport this to nmap, and I'm just going to call it like initial scan, something like that. And that'll take a minute to go through. So yeah, if you're new to the channel, then thanks for checking it out. And if you guys have any questions or any ideas about things that we could do on live stream together, just let me know. I'm open to, I don't know, seeing how this goes and just going from there. Sorry, I'm reading some details about the stream. Lower than the recommended bitrate. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, guys, keep me posted if the stream quality starts to kind of go to hell on us or something. But for now, I think we're okay. So while that nmap scan is running, I'm gonna head over to 10.10.10.6. Cool. So it does look like we're working with some sort of web server. Analyzing the page source. Try to zoom in, make it a little bit easier for you guys to read. Yeah, looks like we're dealing with just some default page. I like to use this add-in called Wapalizer. It's an extension you can add to Firefox. Sometimes it'll help detect like what technologies are running, right? So if like there's a version of PHP, it might be able to find that, or if it's like IIS or Apache, it should be able to tell us. But it's not able to fingerprint anything and identify that, so that's kind of not helpful. But knowing we've got some web server, our nmap scan's not done. I'm going to see if maybe I can get to it on HTTPS, and we can't. Okay, so we've got something going on here on port 80. I like to use my own blog as like a cheat sheet, so infinitelogins.com. If you do like $s equals to, then you could do like a search or whatever. So I'm going to search for HTTP, and I've got this enumerating HTTP ports that I like to use. And in here, I've got a command just for GoBuster. I think that's the one I want. So I'm going to copy this guy and let's throw it into a quick notepad here. And we'll modify that address. So we want to hit this site. Bam. And it's going to use this word list here called common.txt, which is just a part of the it's like a part of the sec list word list. If you've seen any of my videos, I've talked about it before. You can just like do a quick search on GitHub sec lists. And there's this repository here. It's got a ton of awesome word lists in there, but one of them, the one that I'm going to use, is this web content common.txt. And it's like the first one I like to use when I'm enumerating a web server. If there happens to be, it basically it finds a lot of things pretty quickly. So we're going to use that, and then we could dive deeper with using like a bigger word list afterwards. But let's run this. Try to brute force this page. See if we can find any actual like directories on the page. And it found a couple here, all of them returning the 403. Hey Rocky, I think I'm actually doing this stream due to your recommendation. I think it was you that said, "Hey man, you should do a live stream." So welcome to the party. Now, I'm still very much like learning here along with you guys. So don't expect me to be doing like any crazy groundbreaking like IPSec style shit. But um, yeah, we're just kind of going through this together. So don't have access here. We're getting 403s on all of these return pages. Oh, cool. But we do have index HTML. I don't think I clicked it. There we go. All the same. We've got a test directory. Oh, cool. So this will be helpful. We can enumerate a ton of information on the server, which is good because my nmap scan, I don't think has finished yet. Oh, it just came back. So we're dealing with, looks like port 80 and then port 22. So not a whole lot going on yet. If we go take a look at this, it also came out with this torrent directory. We'll pull that open. Okay, cool. So we've got like two decent directories here to play with. Yeah, so I don't actually have timing. I mean, I just kind of decided to wing this. Like, I just decided about an hour or two ago, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna do this. So, I don't know. Depending on how this goes, if this is like something that you guys like, I don't have any idea or real agenda other than just going through like a hack the box machine. Um, but if you guys have ideas on what we can do, like what type of live streams you might want to see, or whether we just kind of chat or whatever, then yeah, I might start doing like a scheduled weekly thing so that way, you know, you guys can be a part of this with me. But for now, I don't really have any like schedule to announce. But that could totally change down the road. I'd say just maybe follow my Twitter. I'll do my best to try to like announce my live streams there. So I may even open up like a Discord down the road, depending if it's desirable or whatever. So cool. So we're definitely dealing with some Linux box here, and it's running PHP. And then we've got the torrent directory. So I don't know. I think it'd be kind of cool. I'm interested to see like I don't know like what skill level my audience or whatever. I don't know like where you guys are at. Like if you guys are like pen testers, if you guys have a background with any of this, or if all of this is just kind of like foreign to you. So if you're interested in like you know giving me guidance as we go along here. I've got a ton to learn myself, so I'd love for this to be more of like an interactive thing. So feel free to throw ideas in on kind of like what the next steps are going to be. But anyway, we definitely look like we've got some sort of web app here, and I don't recognize it. Torrent hoster. I mean, we could just do a quick search on torrent hoster, and we don't know what version we're dealing with, but we do have something come in here from exploit DB. And I don't know, so it uses this torrents.php mode of upload. Looks like there might also be some cross-site scripting. Cool, I wonder what version we're dealing with. If we go view the page source, maybe we can get some info about that. 2007, that's definitely old, huh? I wonder if we can get an idea of what version. I don't want to use. Nice. Oh, check it out. I actually made some sort of file upload bypass. Hold on, I want to look at this. I forgot what I did. So I uploaded this back in August, and I used Popcorn as kind of my tutorial for it. Nice. Cool. I'm just gonna walk through this same thing myself. So this is my actual blog that I wrote about this exact box, I guess. And it wasn't like intended to be a walkthrough, which is probably why I had the machine as like not finished in Hack the Box. I don't have any of the points or whatever. Let's just start by signing up for this web app here. Password of 123, password of 123, email at doesnotexist.com, F41C8. Hey, so we got a login. Throw that in here. So we're signed in. If we go to the upload feature, we can browse and we can actually upload something. So what I'm going to do is, let's make a quick echo, I don't know, we'll just say hello, into the test.html file. And this is in, let's print my working directory, this is in this. And I think by default it goes to my desktop, so I'm going to copy test.html, I'm just going to throw it into desktop, test.html. Okay, so now when I hit browse, we should see that. Open that up. And we'll just upload the torrent. And it's not a valid torrent file. Great. Okay, so let's go back. Actually, one thing we can do, let me turn on Burp. We'll load Burp Suite up. And I'll just see if I can re-upload it using Burp. But since I didn't have that running at the time, I'll probably need to come here. We'll turn intercept on, come back, turn that off for a sec. Browse, select the file, and then we'll turn intercept on, upload. And we could see here, we'll just adjust this to, I think it went in .torrent. And text HTML. I don't actually know what the content type would be for like a torrent file. Let's just forward that. And it still doesn't like it. Okay, no problem. So what we'll do, we'll move that file into that. And it still doesn't like it. I don't know. What's a valid torrent file? Like, what's the file extension? .torrent. Yeah, cool. I have no fucking idea. So we will close out of that. If we go look at this guy, oh, .torrent. Well, yeah, that's what I had. Yeah, .iso.torrent. So maybe because it's not like an actual torrent, it could be doing some sort of check. Like when you upload the file, like if we come back and look at this history, what was that? Probably one of these. This guy. So like it's probably looking for, I would assume it's looking for like some sort of like bytes right in here that indicate that this is a torrent file. That's my assumption as to why it's saying, hey, it's not valid. I mean, we could just go out and do like Kali Linux torrent. We can download like the actual official ISO, or at least the torrent file for that, this guy. And if I were to copy him, cool. And we could just paste that into home Kali desktop. And let's just list out home Kali desktop. Yeah, so we've got that in there. Now, in theory, see if it takes this one. Yeah, I didn't. It's so picky. How annoying. Yes. Category, sure. Action, yeah, why not? And no description, go. Moment of truth. I'm just waiting for it to upload. If I'm remembering right from this one, once we upload that, we should be able to go into like the thumbnail, and I think that's where the vulnerability actually is. It's not in this upload, but it's in the next one. I still got connectivity. Don't know what's up with it. Well, while that's doing that thing, it's always good to have some sort of enumeration running in the background. So I'm going to rerun this command, but actually I want to locate directory list. And I'll use this guy. And we are dealing with a Linux box, so it's likely going to be case sensitive. So I don't want to use this lowercase one. I want to use this one here. That way it'll use both uppercase and lowercase. And then we'll just replace the word list with that file there. And it's not recursive. Um, Using something like GoBuster won't recursively search, which can be a good thing. If you're looking for just something like real fast based on the word list you've got open. Another tool like Durbuster might be better suited if you want to just kind of run it and then completely forget about it, right? Like you could run that and then you just step away, and then that could recursively search. So that could be a better fit for what it is that I'm looking to do. But for now, I think that'll work just fine. So let's try to upload this again. I'll give it like some actual details now. Kelly torrent. I don't know. We'll say that it's other. Sure. No description is needed. And let's try another upload. Okay. And it's already existing in our database. That's fine. So if we browse, there it is. We've got this Kelly Linux. I'm going to open that up. And then in here, we've got some sort of screenshot. Nice. So what I wanted to do is I believe in here somewhere, we should have the ability to give it like a PNG, like some sort of thumbnail. I don't think I uploaded this one. I think maybe someone else did. So I'm gonna open up this guy. I think this is the one that I uploaded. So then I'd be able to come in and I could say edit this torrent, and then we can update the screenshot that's being used. So this I believe is where the vulnerability lives. So it's saying that we can only use like a JPEG or a PNG. Um, but if I were to browse and say test.torrent, right, that's that file we made earlier. It should just contain the text like hello. If I open that guy up, we could try to submit this and it doesn't like it. It says invalid file. But what we can do is if I go back and it doesn't let me go back, so I'll have to close it, edit again. If I turn burp on, and I'm just kind of going off memory here, I could totally be wrong. But if I open this up and we try to submit it again, what happens if I were to come in here and I say like .png, right? And let's try to forward that. And it still doesn't like it. It says invalid file. Try this again. Open. Turn intercept back on. So we're still seeing, see right there, it's got the application of BitTorrent, right? I think let's try changing this to PNG. Try changing that to PNG. And let's just see what happens for that request. It still doesn't like it. Invalid file. But if we go and look at this guy, um, we tried to do test PHP, came back with an invalid file. However, we were able to bypass that by adjusting a couple things. So in addition to adjusting this, we also tried adding the magic bytes, and then that got uploaded. So let's just go back and do that again. Sorry, I'm kind of like going through this alongside you guys. It's been a while. So what I want to try, let's make a quick web shell in PHP. I'm just going to copy what I used last time, which I believe was this guy. We can just use a quick gedit of shell.php. Throw that in, we'll hit save. And actually what I want to do is I want to move this into shell.png. And then, let's see if we can get this to upload. Edit the torrent. We're in desktop. Here, hold on one sec. I'm going to blink this out for just a moment so I can browse to that. Okay, so then we'll do shell.png, open that, and let's try to submit it. Okay, so when we do it this way, when it's an image PNG with .png as the file extension, it actually accepts it. So then the question is, how can we actually get to that uploaded file? I believe before that was under like an upload directory, and if we let GoBester run long enough, we'd probably find it. See, we've got a rename, we've got torrent and test. Let's open up rename. Nice. What happens if we just try to browse to like upload? Maybe uploads. Maybe torrent uploads. Okay, cool. So we've got something. Open this up. Open this one. Yeah, so what I'm thinking is this is probably the file that we uploaded. The hello, or actually it's not hello anymore. It's got our web shell in it. But obviously we're dealing with a .png, and in order for us to execute that properly, we need it to be a PHP file. So let's head back to this. We'll edit this again. Let's try to upload it, but this time I'm going to intercept it with Bert. And I want to adjust this guy. So we will say, we'll leave PNG, but what happens if I actually just add at the end of it PHP? And then I might need to change this too, but let's just see what happens. So I'm going to forward this off, and it takes it. So check that out. So what we did is we actually uploaded a PHP file, because most likely what's going on is the web application is just checking to see is the word PNG or is the file extension PNG just present in the file name. It's not actually checking to make sure that it's a PNG file. So we're able to do a quick bypass by doing it that way. And if we head back to this guy, refresh this directory, turn intercept off, and now we've got a new file in here. And check it, it's actually just .php. So it totally just looks like a PHP file. If I go to it, sweet, this is exactly what we wanted to see. So it's saying that I can't execute a blink command, and that's because the actual contents of that file, if we go back, it says cat out shell.php. Let's take a look at what that PHP code is doing. Sorry, shell.png is what I saved it as. So it's just looking for a parameter called CMD, and it's just passing that into it's a get. So any get that we put into the CMD parameter, it's going to pass that into system, which is just going to execute system commands for us. So what I mean by that is if you come in here, you should be able to come in and say like CMD is the parameter that we're adding to our get request, and then we can give it a value of like who am I, and that should be passed into system, which gives us command execution. So now we're looking at who am I of www data, and we've got command execution. We could just do a couple things to try to enumerate the box. We can see what groups we're a part of. So we're not root, so that means we're going to need to do some privesc, but we've at least got some sort of web-based shell. Um, so now what I'm going to try to do, I don't know, let's see if netcat's on the box. We can just do nc. We don't get anything back, so I don't know if that's errored, if that's like erroring out or no. But what we can do is we can just like Google quick like bash reverse shell one-liner. Pentest Monkey has some cool stuff, and that's fine. I don't care if they hack me. Ignore the risk. Oh, lame. Go anyway. That really sucks, man. Pentest Monkey, they've been around since I've been studying for OSCP, and I've used his stuff quite a bit. So, if I mean, unless he's actually like hacked, and this is a bad site to go to now, it's kind of unfortunate that it's got all those warnings because he's got some really cool cheat sheets. But I'm gonna try to copy this, assuming that Bash is gonna work on the machine. I also don't know if we can pass all of these characters, like all these special characters along. They may not be able to be translated properly in our web shell. So we'll see what happens, but we'll give it a shot, right? So if we come into this guy, and obviously we'll need to make some adjustments here. So I'll need to give it my IP address, which we can do a quick IPA. Here's my IP. Copy that. Paste that in. Port 8080 is going to be fine. That's cool with me. Let's just do a quick netcat and VLP on port 8080. And oh, Burp Suite's already using it. So instead, we'll do 443, and I'll have to use sudo. Okay, so now I'm listening on the 443. Just close this, and then we'll adjust our port here to use 443, and we'll see what happens. I don't think it worked. Yeah, it didn't work. The reason I didn't think it worked is because it like just went right away. Typically, if you actually get a reverse shell to work like this through a web shell, it's just gonna hang, and we're not getting that in our case. So it's either not liking the spaces or there's like a special character it doesn't like. I mean, we could test that, make sure we still got command execution, which we do, and we could test whether or not we can use spaces, right? So if I do like ping, I think -c is where we can tell it like how many times to ping. So if I do ping 127.0.0.1 -c of 2, it should ping twice. Yep. So I'm gonna do a quick sudo tcp dump on my ton0 interface, and I think I just say ICMP. I don't think I need any other switches for that. So basically, I'm just going to be listening on that interface for any sort of ICMP traffic. So if I come back to this guy, and I don't remember what my IP was, this guy, I can basically just tell the remote system to ping myself twice. And if spaces are allowed, this command should totally go through. And it looks like it went through. And yeah, we definitely have some pings here. So, oh, no, yep, I'm still live. Sorry, I didn't see your message. Welcome to the party. So we're just doing some live hacking here on Hack the Box. Okay, so we definitely have connectivity. We definitely have command execution, and our spaces are allowed. So I just think it didn't like that reverse shell that we use from here. So I don't know if Python's on the machine. That's a really long command. I'm gonna try to avoid that. We can totally just try to use netcat. I don't think it's on the box because when I did nc earlier, it like didn't give me any like feedback. But we can try to use netcat and see what happens. So if we come back to this guy, I'll keep my IP present there. So we want 10.10.10 1444. That's my IP address. I'll use port 443, and then we'll replace that example one with mine. Okay, cool. So this is exactly what I wanted to see. Notice how like the page is still hanging. It's just sitting there loading like that. This is a good indication that our reverse shell worked because if the command executed and then that was it, the command execution would be done, then we would just see the feedback from the page, whether or not it worked or not. But the fact that it's hanging like this tells us it's still trying to process that command, which means we likely have a reverse shell connection here, which we do. Like if we look back at my netcat, where I'm listening on port 443, we just told it to connect back to my machine on port 443. And now I've got the ability to execute commands. Like if I run who am I, we see I'm dub data. If I run ID, right, we've got all this stuff. So the next thing I want to do is try to improve on my shell. Let me kind of clean up my mess here. And I'm going to head back to my own blog. I'll do question mark s is equal to, and then if you search TTY, we can upgrade using Python. We can import a PTY. I honestly don't understand what this does. I'm not even going to pretend like I do. All I know is that we're executing some sort of command in Python, and it typically makes my shell much easier to deal with. So I'm just going to paste that in, and we'll see if it works. Nice, it does. So notice now we've got like the full thing, and we're not dealing with just like that blank. And then we could even take it a step further. If we background the window with Control Z, we could type in this stt raw echo, press enter, and then type foreground. So let's just try this. Background, Control Z. We'll paste in that command I just copied, press enter, and then do FG. And there we go. So now it's like even more interactive than it was before. And now what I can do is run export term is equal to x term. And I can do things like clearing the screen. So I've got like a much more interactive shell at this point. Everything I just did in that last like second or two is completely not like necessary. I just like to take that extra step because I like to use clear a lot, right? Like that to clear the screen, and you just can't do that if you don't have an interactive shell. So kind of clean up our mess here, exit all that. Okay, and maybe we can grab our user flag. So I'm gonna change into the home directory. Let's see what's in here. And it didn't look like that change worked. Let's see if we can go back. Okay, come to home. And it looks like there's a user called George. Let's see if we have access to his directory, which we do. And we can see all this stuff. Okay, cool. So here's this user.text flag. So I'm going to go in and just cat out the contents of that. And I'll throw that into my hack the box screen so I can get credit for doing this much of the box. Submit a flag. Submit. Okay. Nope, hold on. It didn't like that flag. Weird. Okay, whatever. It's not taking the flag. That's fine. So then, at this point, I like to do use a tool like linenum or linpeas to actually try to enumerate this a bit further. Try to find out what the best path is for privilege escalation. So we'll come in here, and if I list out my op directory, I've got a ton of stuff in here. But here's that linpeas script, right? So I can just do a quick locate on linpeas to get the full path. Actually, it's just in my op. So I'm going to actually copy opt linpeas.sh, throw it in this current directory, and then I can host it up. So if I do a python tac-im, simple HTTP server on port 80, what that's going to do is that's going to spin up a local web server. So now if I go to like IPA, this is my IP address. If I were to actually copy this, go into a browser and head over to my own IP address, I actually have a web server here where we can see that linpeas.sh script. So if I were to click that, it'll download the file. But I've already got it on this machine, but what I can do is on this remote machine that we now have a shell on, we can do a quick wget http 10.10.10.14, is that what it was? 10.10.10 1444, there we go, slash linpeas.sh. Permission denied. So I don't have access to write to the directory I'm in, so I'm going to change into temp. Usually we can write into that. And then I can wget again. There we go. So that downloads the file. So now on this machine, I've got this linpeas.sh, and we can do a quick chmod of +x to make the file executable. And we'll just run it. So we'll give it a second for it to run. If you guys haven't seen this before, what's happening is it's just an automated script that you can get from GitHub. You can literally just search GitHub linpeas, not lean peas, lin, and I think it's this guy. Yeah. And basically it just will run a bunch of commands for you like automatically, right? So it'll look for a lot of common privilege escalation techniques and it's just going to report back saying, yeah, there's privesc here or there isn't privesc here. So that way you don't have to do the commands like one by one. You can just kind of run that tool and then you can just view the output to see if there's any easy wins or whatever. So I'm going to scroll up to the top here. This is when we first started running it. And the reason I like this one over something like Lin and Noom, that's another script that does like the same thing, is this one is like color coordinated, makes it a little bit easier to kind of follow. So if you see anything that's a red or a yellow, that's an indication that you're dealing with something that's probably really likely to be a privesc. And anything that's red or yellow means we should definitely look into that, see if we can get root. So right away, looks like we're dealing with an old Linux kernel, which means we could try to search for an easy win through a kernel exploit. I try to avoid that, at least in the beginning. From my experience doing the OSCP exams, there's not often times where your intended path is to do a kernel exploit. Plus, sometimes kernel exploits can crash the box if it doesn't work. So I just typically will avoid that until the end. Let's just keep looking here. So it looks like there are some additional devices that are mounted that we might be able to read and go look at. I'm going to keep going. I don't think that that's likely the intended path. We could see, yep, definitely netcat's installed. That's why that netcat reverse shell worked. Python's installed. That's why doing the TTY worked. We even got some compilers installed, so that is helpful. If we do find some exploit that we want to use, we can compile it directly on this box, which just means it's more likely to actually work. And now I want to see if we've got any weird processes running as root. Anything that I just don't recognize as a normal Linux process. If you guys see anything that's popping out yelling at you, feel free to shout. Um, I think privilege escalation is definitely one of my like weakest areas. So yeah, I mean any feedback or anything you guys see could be helpful in solving this one together. All this is just Apache. Looking at cron jobs, hourly, monthly, weekly, anything that runs that. Infrequent is probably not going to be helpful for us. Really, we would need something like that runs every minute or maybe every 5 minutes. Um, when you're doing like a capture the flag type box like this, you're not typically going to find a cron job that runs daily, hourly, or even like especially not like weekly or anything like that because no one's got time to wait for that to execute in a capture the flag. And zoom back up or scroll back up here. So root can SSH in the box, which is great, except we don't have root credentials. Found some key rings. I find that I've never gotten lucky by looking through these keyring files, so I don't think that that's going to be helpful for us. Nice. Okay. So we do have some history files that we can take a look at. Let's open up a, well, I don't have a, I only got one shell, so that's not going to be what I want. But I'm going to make note of this, take a quick screenshot of it. That's definitely something I'm going to want to look at in a second. And then these are all files that are modified within the last 5 minutes. So these are helpful. Sometimes I can give you an idea, especially if you've got like some sort of cron job that's running, or if there's some sort of like script that's set to run on a timer. Um, this is helpful to try to find that out, right? Because if a file is being modified in the last 5 minutes, maybe if you have read access or write access to that file, you might be able to like change what it is that's getting modified on a timer. Um, so, for example, if it's like a Bash script that runs every 5 minutes, you could go in there and you could do like a Bash one-liner to do a new reverse shell and just say that runs as root every 5 minutes, and you would get a root shell after waiting 5 minutes or so. Cool. Yeah, it looks like there's a ton of files in that user directory that we can just totally take a look at. So I'll make note for that guy. Got some old backup files here. Don't see any creds. Oh, check that out. Okay, so searching passwords in config PHP. Looks like we do have a database password here, super secret. So that's helpful. Let's copy that out. And that's it. That's everything that the script found. So I don't know if it said anything about like what, we can do a quick netstat, see what ports are listening, and I should probably, oh, this might kill it. Okay, cool. Netstat, I think A and T is what I like. Yeah. So this just tell it to not do, it'll show me all the processes. Um, and I don't remember if it's N or T. I think it's probably N that says like don't do DNS resolution, makes the command run so much quicker if it's not trying to resolve host names. But what I'm curious at is, yeah, 3306. So that's typically like a MySQL or some sort of database port running. And it is only open to localhost, meaning that's why if we go back to our nmap scan, we only saw port 22 and port 80. We never saw this 3306 port open to us from the outside. So now that we've got access to the box, we might be able to connect to ourselves through this port 3306, and maybe we can use that password that we just found out. Now the thing is I don't know what username to use. I probably, if we head back into, does this tell me what file that was? So this says searching passwords and config PHP files. Yeah, I don't know what file that is. So I was hoping maybe we could go back and look and try to find like a username or something, but maybe it's just using like a generic default username. So I can try if we do like netcat 127001 on 3306. The hell? Let's try that again. Packets out of order. Weird. I wonder if that's because of the Python TTY I spawned, if it's like not showing it the right way. We could try MySQL can access denied using password. No. Let's do some basic enumeration. Like if I do sudo -l, oh, we don't know the password, so we can't do that. Let's see. How do we? think that's the command I'm looking for. Permission denied. Cool. Oh, there we go. Nice. That's not what I want. So we could try to connect using SA at 127.0.0.1. It doesn't look like it's gonna let us do that at all. Okay, we do have this password. We can try, we do know like SSH is open on the box. So I don't know if this will work, but we could just try to SSH and try to guess like the username. So if I clear the screen here, we try to SSH at 10.10, what was it? 10.6. And you could look for the PHP config file using find, I think. Hey, good idea. I don't know if that was, I mean, we could also try locate, right? If the database has been updated or whatever. There's not that many PHP files, it looks like. PHP my admin. Although I don't know if it's, does it end in like .php? Yeah, it's just gonna search for way too much junk. It's not what I'm looking for. Lefty, if you know the syntax I'm looking for, feel free to throw it at me. Because yeah, if we can figure out like the name of that PHP file, then we could look at the contents. Maybe it's got a username for us. But at this point, I'm just gonna guess the username. Like if we head back into, I think it was like the home. Whoops. There's a user here called George. So maybe I can just SSH into the box as George. 10.10.10.6 George at. Yes. And it should prompt for a password, and we can just try the one that we found earlier. Maybe, if it prompts for a password. Cool. Oh, there it goes. And then I will paste that in. Nope, it didn't like it. Just making sure I didn't have like a space or anything. Yeah. I mean, what are the odds that that's the root password, right? Yeah, no. Cool. So that didn't work either. So that could just be a database password for like MySQL. But for whatever reason, when I try to run MySQL, it doesn't want to let us connect. Unless I've just got my syntax wrong. Should the config file path show up in PHP info? It totally could. Let's I do know we had that PHP info page displayed for us, right? So we come back to, what was it? Let's just, do I still have my dirbust? I probably don't. Was it test? Yeah. And scan this directory for additional INI files. Here's a config file here. I don't know if that's the same file that we're dealing with though. No such file. Etsy PHP5. Oh, sorry. I've got to actually be on the box, don't I? Alrighty, what do we got? So there's a lot of stuff. Let's do a quick search for password. Access denied for www using password. Yeah, so this is just like my command. John.doe default password doesn't apply. It's not finding it. If we do another search for, what was it, like super secret, something like that. Yeah, that's when I typed it. Yeah, it's not present in that file, so that's not the right file. At least not the one that linp's returned, unless maybe there's another config file in here. Let's go list out the contents of this directory. grep-c5 for password. What does the C5 do? I don't think I've used that one before. C5 shows 5 lines before and after. Nice. And it's just gonna imagine go through the whole, like every directory. Yeah. Or I guess if we start from here, it'll be recursive. So let's just do it, man. I might regret this because this is my only shell, but we'll see. Super secret explanation. I'll let that run. While it's running, I think what I'll do, oh well, hold on. Let's kill that real quick. Let's go in and start another shell. Let's do netcat and VLP. I'll do 444. And we gotta use sudo. Cool. And, oh, hold on, I gotta think this through. Because if I do that, it's just gonna hang this one. And you're saying oh, I see what you mean. You're saying I need to list everything and then pipe that into grep? And I don't have permission for most of these directories. What are the odds that it's just in the user directory or the home directory? I mean, that actually ran pretty quick when I just run it there. We can go into user. Yeah, no, we're not finding nothing, huh? I probably don't have permission in the root directory. Okay, I want to go back to trying to figure out if I can get MySQL to connect. -u for username and then -p. Is that the prompt for password? Ugh, that's not what I want. -p is the inner password. Yeah, I'm assuming that's for the prompt. And then you could try to do show databases and whatever. We still don't know the username, but we could try SA. And then when we get prompted, I'll copy it from my notepad, paste it in. Access denied for user SA at localhost. Nice. We could try it as George. Access still denied. Finally, we could try as root. Yeah, no, it doesn't like any of that. Back to the drawing board. Kill this. So I don't know about you guys, but I love to cheat. So let's just do a quick. We'll just search a popcorn walkthrough. I mean, we could spend a ton of time, right? Just like spinning wheels trying to figure it out, or we could take a look at what other people have done and just kind of get a hint to push us in the right direction. Um, I'm kind of like a big believer that using walkthroughs are helpful. Because if you get stuck someplace, getting like a little push can sometimes just give you the little bit that you need. So he enumerated that flag. During the enumeration, he got a message of the day. Download the exploit, host it. Interesting. Let's just go back into user George. Oh, home George, my bad. I think there were a ton of files in here, right, that we actually wanted to look at. So we've got this torrent hoster.zip that we haven't enumerated yet. But let's see if we can cat this one. Nothing in there. We can look at his history. Denied. Look at the SQL history, denied. And everything bash history is being thrown into dev null, so there's not going to be anything there either. Cool. So maybe we could take a look at this guy. Obviously, it's a zip file, right? So if I'm going to do anything, I'm going to need to try to unzip that. And I'm actually terrible at remembering how to I mean, I guess we could just, is it just unzip? Or do I need to use like gzip or something? Permissions denied. It could just be that I don't have like write permission. Let's see. I do have read. Let's just try to copy this file. So we can copy home, George, torrent hoster, and we could throw it into temp. And then if we change into temp, we might be able to unzip. Cool. So we can unzip it here. And then now we can change in and I don't know about you, but this is just, yeah, it just looks like the actual source for everything that we had. Like this is the application, I believe. I'm just searching through it in case maybe, yeah, it'd be like a password, but I don't think we're gonna get that lucky. Could be wrong. If we head back though to that walkthrough, that write up or whatever, it mentions this motd.legal displayed. Why didn't I not see that? That's under the cache directory? Maybe it's because I didn't cat the contents of that. Let's just change into home George. Cool. Yeah, I'm sorry, but this write-up doesn't make any sense. So we are going to close that out. And let's see if we can find one that actually explains what the hell is going on. So that was popcorn, hack the box, write-up. Dirty cow, it's a kernel exploit. I don't want to use a kernel exploit. Lame. Yeah, I mean, we kind of knew that there'd be a kernel exploit there. Try to SSH in the boxes. George triggers the message of the day. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. I think you're right. Right? I think you could be. George at 10, 10, 10, 6. We did that earlier. Hopefully, I mean, hopefully we would have spotted it, right? Who knows? Um, did I lose connection? 10, 10, 10, 6. Nope, I can still ping it. Yeah, I don't get anything. It just get prompted for a password. I like the way you think, though. Plus, what that last write-up was saying is that there was like an exploit for the message of the day, which just is weird. That didn't really make any sense to me. But what do I know? Yeah, I think the file was empty. Like, you mean after trying to SSH into it? Yeah, it's still 0. Oh, Devil Ray, what you should actually, I'll tell you what, man. I've got an affiliate link if you want to buy a VPN. Um, then you'll be able to connect to Hack the Box, and your ISP can't stop you at that point. That is weird. I never heard of ISPs actually stopping people from connecting to Hack the Box. I do a lot of like not shady shit, but I do a lot of hacker shit, right? And I've never had an issue, but I always connect to a VPN. So, I mean, that could be why. Yeah, okay, cool. So I like this guy because he's talking about that SQL database, which I'm pretty sure we had, credentials to the SQL database. But hold up. Use SQL map. So SQL map, by the way, SQL map is against the rules for the OSCP. So if you're studying for that, um, don't use it, right? It's just an automated SQL injection tool. Hey, what's up, Sucky Wings? We're hacking some boxes, man, and I got tired of trying to do privilege escalation because I suck at privilege escalation. So I'm cheating because that's what all the good hackers do. Um, this is a cool opportunity for you to ask questions, man, if you don't know what you're doing. Devil Ray, you said I have one. I'm just dumb for not connecting to it. Yeah, man. I mean, for a long time, I wouldn't connect to my VPN because I felt like it slowed me down. Um, but if you've got a decent VPN, you can just set it to run like on auto startup or whatever, and you can just set it and forget it. For the most part, I use PIA, private internet access. Again, affiliate link in the description if you want to send a couple bucks my way. But yeah, it's a solid one. I'd recommend it. Some questions to ask about InfoSec career. Yeah, man, ask away, dude. So I mean, I love to help people. Doing the hack the box stream is just something to do to kill the time or whatever. But yeah, if you've got questions, I'd love to chat. Okay. So this dude found the file called login.req, login request. Either he found that or this is some exploit that he's using to bypass login. Some people forget that SQL map, all we have to do. Okay, cool. So this is basically him taking his login request and capturing that so he could pass it over to SQL map, which is great. However, I don't really want to do a SQL injection. I guess we probably could. So here's the file upload. This is how he got his remote code execution, the same thing we did. He just got a shell a different way. Cool. So at this point, he's got the user.text. Okay. I mean, I guess this guy does a better job at explaining it. So he's got that MOTD file that he runs search exploit against. and then that comes back to give us some sort of file tampering prevesc. And I don't know if, in addition to seeing that message of the day file, in addition to seeing that with the Linux kernel we're running, maybe those two items together, you connect the dots and you realize, okay, cool, we can run the script. Um, yeah, and this is what he ended up doing. So let's head over to here. We'll do a search exploit on MOTD like he did. And we've got a few items. Um, Pop quiz, what's the command to know what Linux kernel you're running? 263 Linux PAM. I have no idea what the hell Linux PAM is. You guys know what Linux PAM is? So Raj says, I just did my WAPT in the CEH, not in a situation to have OSCP, struggling to get a JOB. What should I do? Man, okay. Well, I mean, it sounds like if you're doing the CEH and the WAPT, you're looking to get into, I'm assuming, an ethical hacking role. Um, Security analyst is a pretty like overused term in my experience. Like some people, like technically when I first started as an intern pen tester, they called me a security analyst, right? But I've seen other security analysts titles given to people that do more like blue team type work where they're like doing like log analysis and stuff like that. So I mean, really the question is, what is it that you're looking to do? And to be honest, the answer to anything that you're trying to do is just you just got to keep trying. It's going to be tough getting a job when you don't have experience. It's like this like weird catch 22, right? Because no one wants to hire you until you have experience, but then you can't get experience because no one will hire you, and like so you're just in this really shitty spot. Um, all that I can share is what I did, and I mean, you're actually way ahead of me in the sense that I don't even have any actual certifications. Like I've gone for OSCP and I failed my exam twice. I'm gonna do my third exam attempt here in December. The only reason I work as a pen tester today is because I just networked the shit out of any opportunity that I could. So, like I started Googling local security meetups that were nearby, or I went on to LinkedIn and any recruiter I could find, I started sending them connection requests and then I just started talking to people. I mean, there was probably a good, like, I mean, it's been like a year since I've started doing that. And it just recently paid off. So, what I'd recommend doing is meet as many people as you can, join as many groups as you can, talk to as many people on LinkedIn or whatever, and just set up calls. Like literally, just set up calls. Talk with people, share your experience. If you're passionate about this, you just have to talk to the right person. That right person will see your passion and they'll have an opportunity for you. It may not be for them, you may not work for them, but they might know somebody who is looking. And all it takes is finding the right company at the right time, where they've got an opening and they're willing to bring on someone who's green as long as they're willing to show passion. And once you get in, once you get that first, it's kind of like hacking, dude. Like once you get that initial foothold, that's the hardest thing to do. But once you get it, like it's so easy to pivot to another machine or to pivot to another network, right? It's just finding that initial step. Um, and I think you'll make it, dude. Just keep trying, Like if you've got more specific questions that aren't so broad, feel free to throw them my way. But I also think giving back, like if you've got any knowledge that you can share, whether that's through some sort of blog or through a YouTube channel, or you want to start live streaming, like whatever you want to do, to try to share and show people like what you know, I think that's going to go a long way. Because if nothing else, right, like you can just throw that as a differentiator between you and the 100 other people applying for the same job. And maybe you guys all have the same certifications, none of you have experience, but the only difference is you have an online blog and they don't. As a hiring manager, I'd probably pick you. So I don't know. That's just my 2 cents on that topic. But anyway, if we look at what this guy did, he used this 14339. So Linux PAM 1 seems to be vulnerable to escalation. Get more information, you do all that. and then to use the exploit, you use it. So I like this write up a little bit better because it explains more, but it's still not perfect. Like I don't see where he's connecting the dots. And if you guys that are watching along, if you're seeing this, where does he go from knowing, hey, I found this random file on the system called MOTD, and I'm gonna search exploit that, get these three exploits back. How do you connect that? Like to me, I'm not seeing the connection. Like how do you know to go from this file to using one of these exploits? Sucky wings, dude. Don't worry, man. Like all of us start someplace, you know? Like a year ago I didn't know like how to do any of this stuff. So um it it definitely can seem intimidating, but if it's something that you're interested in, like I don't know. I think most people that are here in the stream would agree that it's like pretty cool stuff. Um I would just start if you're like seriously like super beginner, like no knowledge about computers or hacking or anything. Just start with the basics, dude. Take a step back. You know, like what I'm doing here is fairly advanced. Like we're not doing a super hard box. We're not doing like crazy crypto analysis or anything like that. But um, you know, it you have to have some basic knowledge. You have to understand how a network operates or how a computer works, right? And basic command line stuff. And if all of that seems like scary or you've never seen that before, then yeah, dude, of course you're gonna be confused. So like don't stress over it. You know, the more that you get exposed to this type of stuff, the more that it's gonna become like more natural and seem natural to you. So I mean, also, if you have questions as far as like how to get started or whatever, feel free to throw them out. I'm gonna find another write up because I'm still missing something. That file is interesting because it's not common. If we search this, we get this, and if we run that, the results are promising. Gotcha. Okay, so this makes a little bit more sense now. So what this is showing us, this dpkg command is basically listing out any of the installed software, and then we're grepping for a piece of software called, or that contains the letters PAM, and we've got these different versions that come back. And I guess that's what this is about here is because we have MOTD. I guess the idea is you're supposed to know that that's leveraging one of these pieces of software, and if you go and look for exploits on this software, then you would know, cool, one of these might work. And both of these look to be the same, at least from the titles. I don't see anything different about them. So, I mean, I'll just copy this one, do a quick locate, and then we could gedit the contents of it so we can actually read and see what it's doing. Yeah, Siraj, I suck at bug bounties too, man. Like when it comes to bug bounties, bro, that's all like web app stuff, which is actually pretty cool. If you've got the WAPT, like that, I would imagine it's helpful for you. Um, but I haven't really had much luck in the bug bounty space either. Web apps are not my strong suit, but I'm working on getting better there. Um, You tried a lot and got nothing, but I love those hack the box and network stuff. Would you love to say some words? Red teaming is where I want to be. Would you suggest a path? I think you're on the right path. Like honestly, it just takes time. Like you've got a couple certifications. I think that that's going to be really helpful for you. If you're going to be red teaming, I think you're going to need the OSCP. Like I know you mentioned that you're not in a situation to have it. I don't know if that's financial or what the case is. By the way, is my stream doing okay? Like everything's freaking out. It looks like I'm losing viewers or something. But um, yeah, man, like I would definitely recommend the OSCP. That's going to be really, really just going down that path, like the journey and the people you meet and the things you learn by doing OSCP, even if you don't get the certification. I think just attempting to get the certification is completely worthwhile. So I would recommend doing that. Those are kind of just like entry level skills you're gonna need. I just recently did what you would call sort of a red team engagement, or at least maybe early stage. Okay, cool. Thanks for thanks for letting me know the stream's good. Um, Early stage of what could be part of a red team engagement. We traveled across the country. We did like an on-site physical social engineering engagement. Um, and basically everything was in scope as far as like fishing, and social engineering people in person. And if it had been, the reason I don't call that a red team is because we didn't necessarily have permission to run exploits. So like we gained access to the server room, we gained access to the CEO's office, we had hands-on keyboards on multiple computers throughout their office, but we didn't have permission to run any real exploits. So it was more of just like a proof of concept, take a photo, submit that in the report. Um, Whereas that could step over to red team is because we have physical access, you know, I've got a USB rubber ducky, maybe I could plug that into a machine and run some malicious payload. And obviously I wouldn't do something like installing ransomware, but I would probably have it do like a reverse shell to some sort of like command and control center that I have, and then try to go back to my hotel room and pivot across the network from there and just stay completely undetected, right? Like those are all things that in order for you to be able to do as part of a red team, you've got to have that basic OSCP type knowledge, and really you've probably got to take it further. Past that, like and know Active Directory pen testing, and know how to pivot from one machine to another, and all that good stuff. So if all of that doesn't seem like something that you feel comfortable with, like the WAPT definitely is like web app focused, I think, and you probably don't have that basic network pen testing knowledge that you would need for red teaming. And then the CEH is not, from my experience, I haven't done it, but from what I've heard, is more like theory based. Like it's not like technical hands on. So that might not be a super solid certification to do as far as like learning the technical skills. So I think if you do the OSCP, that's going to fill in a lot of those blanks for you. And then it's just a matter of finding someone who's going to take a chance and bring you on so you can get real experience. If you know, like one thing that I did early on is I just talked to the gym that I'm a member of, and I just talked the guy into letting me hack his network, and it was really just a wireless network assessment. Testing like the strength of their Wi-Fi password is essentially what I did. Um, but because I was able to do that, and I create a report and I gave it to him, I put that on a resume as I did a pin test. And I think that that helped too, right? It's just the little things that you can do to help stand out from others that are competing for that same job. Anything you can do to show that you have experience, even if it's something small like that, I think is going to help you stand out over the rest of the crowd. Bug bounties can be super competitive. Like that's the other reason why I haven't spent a ton of time on it, but the guy that I work with, he's been pen testing for like 5 years. Um, he recently found a bug on AT&T. That's a huge like huge traffic source for all kinds of bug bounty hunters. And he found a really low level, like low hanging fruit vulnerability. Like it was like a password. It was like a credential in clear text by viewing the page source of the page. Um, but so I mean, like they're out there, they're competitive, sure, but like low hanging shit's out there too. So, I wouldn't let that discourage you if that's like a dream of yours. Um, which I'm just hopeful that I'll be better at web apps soon, so then maybe I can actually do that too. I don't know. Let's just run this, dude. Should we just run exploit code blindly? Fuck yeah. I don't care at this point. Just copy this down. No such file or directory. What are you talking about? Oh, I don't have the full path. I need this guy. And I'm missing sh. Okay, and I've still got my web server running there. I'm going to change into the temp directory again, and we're just going to run wget on 10.10, what am I, 1444, I think, / we're looking for 14273.sh. Nice. Do a quick +X to make it executable. And let's run that bad boy, shall we? Ooh, it doesn't like something. What don't we like? Oh, I've got to actually read this and do something. Nice. Did a report for my university, but they didn't thank me for the vulnerability. Well, it was SQL injection. Can I put it on my resume? Okay, so so the one thing that you got to keep in mind, man, is we're talking about like ethical hacking, right? And it's really easy to walk that fine line of what's ethical and then what isn't. Um, if you really the only difference between what we do professionally and what bad guys are doing is permission. That's the only difference. That's the only reason why I'm not in jail is because I have permission to do what I get to do. Um, and so I mean that's something that you've just got to really remember and really like stick to because I mean what we're doing is it's kind of a dangerous profession in the sense that like if we don't cover our ass, it could really come back to bite us. So if there's going to be anything that's like risky as to whether or not you're going to get in trouble for it, you may choose to err on the side of caution. Um, I imagine if you found a SQL vulnerability, finding the vulnerability in itself isn't necessarily bad. Like I've found vulnerabilities on things that I didn't necessarily have permission to test, but I wasn't meaning to test it. Like I was trying to type a password in that contained a single quote and it broke the software. And I was like, okay, that's weird. And so then I did another quick proof of concept to see, and yeah, it we definitely had. In my case, it was a cross-site scripting, which is not necessarily SQL injection. I would think SQL injection is probably worse depending on the application use. But um, I think you did the right thing. I think if you reported that vulnerability to them and you like provided disclosure about it, if they appreciate that and they say, "Cool, thank you for finding this," at that point, if it's especially if it's something that's like public enough to go and file for a CVE on, 100% put that on a resume. Be like, "Look, I found this CVE. It was this type of vulnerability. You can work with the vendor, or you can verify with the vendor that this happened." That's 100% cool. But really, the biggest difference is are the people that you're exploiting cool with you exploiting them? And if the answer to that is questionable, you should probably not talk about it because if uh if they're not happy with it, right, they could come after you for that. So, but that's cool. I mean, I'm glad that you've got at least one exploit under your belt somehow, whether or not it was I don't know, like whether you're supposed to or not. So, I didn't read the script at all. But is the script just saying it's got the ability to read files? Is that what this is? I'm gonna open it in gedit because I like it to be color coordinated. Okay. Is this saying that we need to provide a parameter to it? It's gonna make this backup directory, temp directory. We're gonna move this cache into the temp directory, and then we're gonna echo file before. Now log back into your shell or re-SSH to make PAM call vulnerable. File will then be owned by your user. For example, try Etsy password. Okay, we'll try Etsy password. Why not? So if we were to run this guy, 142 Etsy password, no such file or directory. Okay, try that again. Unexpected end of file. Nice. What was the other one? We did search exploit, so this name was 1473. What's the difference between this one and this one? Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, I mean, if you're still on talking terms with him, I would just reach out and share with him, hey, look, guys, I'm looking to break into the world of ethical hacking, and anything you can do to give me, like some sort of recommendation because I found that vulnerability, I think that that's totally acceptable. Devil Ray, thanks for hanging, man. I'll catch you next time. Thanks for checking out the stream for a bit. Whoa. Okay, so this script is doing a lot more. Yeah, dude, I really shocked you learned anything here because I feel like I'm all over the fucking place tonight. So thanks for uh, thanks for sticking around. Hopefully, I'll have a little bit more structure next time. Hey, I appreciate you, Dar 30. Nice. I appreciate you coming in to drop a like. Thanks, dude. Thanks, Rocky. If you're still around or if you're dipping out too, appreciate you, man. So I feel like what this is doing is it's just updating and adding this entry into the Etsy shadow file. So that way we've got the ability to control the password being used for root. We ready to run more exploit code, just basically blind? Copy this file down. We'll do a wget 10 10 14 44 on 14339 chmod plus x. Man, I don't know. I'm honestly getting kind of tired of this box. What is it we got to do? I feel like I tried that. Did I not try that? Yeah, we're getting like syntax errors. I wonder if my file is not getting downloaded the right way. 14339. I don't know, man. Looks pretty good to me. Syntax error line 39 on backup. Let's go look at that. Line 39 here. Unexpected token. Did not like that angle, Grace? I'm also gonna cat the contents real quick in case. Sometimes you can tell like I've noticed this mainly when I'm like copying and pasting code from like a website over. Sometimes like a dash or a hyphen will get interpreted wrong. And if you cat the file, usually you can see like Unicode or some like weird extra characters or whatever that can help you understand why your code's not working the right way. I don't know if that's happening here. I mean, this looks all fine to me. So, oh, there we go. So it didn't like bash. We run it with sh and it seems to work. Um, and then in theory now maybe we can ssh as that user root ssh 10.10.10.6. I probably need to specify root at because I think the user I'm signed in is Kelly at. So let's kill that. And I think that code is supposed to reset the password to TOOR. So we'll give that a shot. Anyway, for you guys that are still watching, I just uploaded a video today. Damn, it didn't work. I just, I just uploaded a video today that talked about a story from my recent social engineering engagement. And then I also talked about a giveaway that I'm doing on this book right here. So it's the Social Engineering Science of Human Hacking. If you haven't read this book, I totally recommend it. And if you're interested, if you want a copy or whatever, like I mentioned, I'm doing a giveaway. So just check out that last video. I think in order to win it or be entered to win it, you just have to be following the channel, which you probably already are, and then just tag some friend. It can just be a single person or whatever. Hell, just make a fake account and tag that one if you want to. But yeah, tag someone and then use a hashtag. I think it was social engineering book. If you use that hashtag, I'll do a quick, I guess, enter or try to do I'm gonna pick someone out. Is what I'm trying to say. Once I hit 500 subs, and I'll ship you that book if you're interested in it. Cool. Something is still not working right here. Okay. So the only thing that's coming back is this echo right there, and it doesn't seem. It's not giving any sort of error. So it seems to make it past that, and then it tries to do this backup function, but we're not getting anything echoed saying that that got backed up. Nothing that got restored. That explains why we were never able to sign in. Yeah, and then we're definitely never getting there to that success message. So don't know what's going on. So was the MySQL thing just like a fluke? That's not like an actual, that just like a rabbit hole or whatever? I already did all that junk. Yeah, that's the same script that we're running. And they got some syntax error. Nice. And then compiled it. Cool. Oh, okay. So this dude's saying that he tried this, got an error, and then decided to go with a kernel exploit. Which, yeah, I mean, we're definitely dealing with a old kernel, but I don't want to use a kernel exploit if I can avoid it. Copying the file causes issues, so let's see if we can improve the shell so we can manually edit it. They do the Python pty, doing the netcat, they transfer the shell, and then from there they copy and paste it over. So I don't remember exactly how to do this, but I think I made a blog post on transferring files with base64. I wonder if we can do that. So instead of actually trying to do like wget, if it's a problem with the shell and somehow messing up our script, maybe we can just take the content of our script, convert it to a base64 string, and then copy that, paste it into the destination, and then decode it into a file again. We'll see if it works. So I think if I come in here, I use this to actually encode the file. So from this box, I've got the 339 file is what I want. So 14339.sh. The W0 there just tells it to don't wrap lines. So that way when I come in here to actually copy everything, you should be able to get it all. So in theory, if I take that, we come in here and I think I just do v, and maybe this is going to be where it messes up, but I don't know. I'm just going to call it 1.sh, insert this, and then we'll paste our clipboard. Can't write vim to home. Ah, shit. I probably need to, well, did it write it? Yeah, it did. Okay, cool. And then make sure it's got everything. So it starts with IY. Let's check this. And it starts with IY. Yeah, looks like we're good. So now we have this base64 encoded script. Then we can come here and we can cat the contents of that and then export it out to the actual name of the file that we want. So basically the name of this file is going to be exploit.sh and the contents are one dot, what do they name it? One dot something, one.sh. So that should have decoded it. So now if I were to cat out exploit.sh, check it out. We've got our file, right? And it looks just like it did on the other side. So if for whatever reason the problem was it didn't like us doing the wget download and it messed it all up, maybe this will work. So now if I do a chmod of +x on exploit.sh, and then we try to run exploit.sh. Okay, well, I tried. Still didn't work. Nice. I'm not going to go through the process of switching over to this other shell either, I don't think. But I might have to, because it looks like that might be the intended path, is to use that script. And I'm not making it work, unfortunately. Unable to write, we can write into temp. That's what we tried. And permission denied, wrong password. It took a while, but search reveals that in order for the exploit to work, we have to check the permissions. Mine was 777, change it to 700. I mean, I'm not getting that same type of problem, but What directory is that referring to? The .ssh directory? Var www.ssh. It doesn't exist unless it's talking about home George SSH. Nope. Weird. No problem, Rocky. Thanks for hanging, man. I appreciate you checking out the stream, and yeah, I'm sure I'll be doing more of this type of stuff. So feel free if you've got any ideas of what you guys would like to see on stream next time, just let me know. I won't be able to sleep till I get this damn thing figured out. I think what I will do is do the kernel exploit because the other way doesn't seem to work either. So grab this guy. And transfer that over. 10, 10, 14, 44 slash 15704.c. And then let's just go in and look at the contents of this guy here. There's a lot to it. Sometimes inside the contents, it'll give us the syntax we need to compile, which I always love it when it does that. There it is. Cool. It's just GCC and then an output. So nothing crazy. GCC of the name, which is 157, and then the output of exploit dot, I'll just call it exploit. Make exploit executable and run it. And we're root. Hey, check it out. Woo! I hate kernel exploits, dude. I feel like it honestly is like such a cheat. Although I've been cheating for like 30 minutes trying to find a walkthrough, so I don't know. You win some, you lose some. Let's go into home. Oh, okay. I don't even know then where the hell root.txt would be. Oh, it's in root. Duh. Cool. Let's go capture that flag under popcorn, submit flag. I don't know why. It keeps telling me incorrect. Hold on. Let me refresh. Weird. Okay. I can't submit the flags, but that's fine. Not too worried about it. That's it, guys. I've been streaming almost 2 hours or whatever. I don't know. I think I'm probably gonna call it a night here. But thanks for hanging out. I appreciate everybody here. Thanks, Lefty, for talking. And Rocky Devil Ray already dipped out. Siraj, I don't know if you're still around, but if so, man, I appreciate you coming through. Sucky Wings, if you're still around, just giving you a shout out. Yeah, Lefty, I would have liked to make that work too. You talking about the actual like script, the sh script or whatever, the shell script. I was trying to make that work. I don't know why. I don't know why it wasn't gonna, but um, whatever. No worries. Um, I think if I were to just keep messing with it, I'm sure I'd get it to work eventually. It's just sometimes you got to pick your battles, right? So, all right, guys. Well, thanks for kicking it, and yeah, I'm gonna definitely be doing more of these. I think I'll come up with like an actual schedule, so that way, it won't just be like a last minute thing. So, if that's something you guys are into, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you next time.